To be God, God must rule the earth and transform it.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. I hope that you can hear me fine. Sorry about that last week, but you know, sound systems go down and then you got to fix them. So if you could put in the chat screen if you hear me, I would greatly appreciate it. Tonight I want to talk about you are vibration. I want to talk about what that means. I mean, we've all heard different things about vibration, and what does that all mean? I mean, some people say, you know, we go to different states, or we raise in vibration to different dimensions. I want to kind of talk about and cover this tonight so that you have maybe a better idea, and this is my rendition of it. I don't know if you've ever seen where they play that sound frequency on a plate where there's sand, and you'll see that sand all of a sudden shift with a different frequency to a different shape, a different geometric shape. When we're talking about vibration, what we're really talking about is the emotion that you hold within yourself. And when you hold that emotion within yourself, whatever emotion that is, that creates that same sort of effect with you, where you go into a different geometric shape, basically. If you could see your shape, your geometric shape, you would see it shifting from one to another depending on what emotion you were holding or playing with in your mind. If you were arguing your mind, you would see it shift to a different shape. And if you're in a state of love and bliss, you would see it shift into a different state. And this goes on not only with your state or your mood, but it also goes with, as you go higher into higher dimensions, there's a shift that happens. There's this frequency shift that happens, and everything is just a little bit different, right? So I hear a lot of things, and people ask me all kinds of questions, and the questions that I hear mainly with people is they're asking questions about dimensions and what happens with these dimensions if we're floating into a new dimension, or is other people interfering with these dimensions. That's the big one I hear. People are asking that all the time. They say, well, I hear that they have corrupted all the way up to 7th dimension. Well, they literally can't. All they're doing is expanding 4th dimension, their own 4th dimension. But you can't create something or disturb 5th dimension, because it's a different frequency. In order for them to go into 5th dimension to do that, they have to shift frequency themselves to shift that. So the frequency levels stay. They have to evolve in a certain way in order to even enter into that state. And the more you love yourself, the more you love yourself, the more you create higher dimensions. The more you create a higher dimension for yourself. People were saying that my voice is a little low, so I'm turning it up a little more, and to see how that works for people. Okay, so it's muffled. Okay. I'm just going to take a minute here, and you go ahead and tell me what you think, what you hear. I'm going to turn it a little different here, because it's more important for you guys to hear this time than what it was last time. Now, how does that sound? Because I've made some adjustments here. So, vibration, we all have it. We all have this ability to shift and change our vibration, because it's our emotional state. It is a combination of our perceptions and attitudes about life, right? Our perceptions and attitudes about ourselves. And so as we become more loving and think more in terms of freedom, then we have this vibration inside of us that starts to get quite exciting. We could start creating and imagining all kinds of things, and that of course increases our vibration even more. And then the more we see these things, and the more we transfer this emotional state that we experience into reality, and we're that free. But of course you're not taught that, and of course you wouldn't be taught that, because in order to maintain the blinder state, where we're all got these blinders on, we're not taught that we can raise vibration, that we can go into higher vibrations with our attitudes and perceptions about life. Think about it as a feedback loop, right? When you're sitting there with a certain emotional state inside of you, it feels very much like you can't break out of it. But all it takes is a little bit of imagination to imagine yourself outside of it, and to get excited about what that feels like. And the next thing you know, the feedback loop takes over, and you start coming out of that state. You start coming out of whatever emotional state that you're in. The freedom is right within you. We've all heard it. We've all heard it many times. That your freedom is within you. The kingdom of heaven is within you. As far back as whenever we've been taught that there's something going on inside of us that's actually creating the external reality. And that's, again, our attitude and our perception about life. Do you think you're trapped? Then you are. Do you think that those emotions that keep repeating are trapping you? They are. Until you decide to stop. Until you decide that, you know what, I don't like this much. I think I want to shift vibration. And in order to shift vibration, we simply start to feel something different. Start feeling the feelings of magic. You know, that this is a magical life. And anything can happen. Anything is possible. And when we start to think that way, we start to free ourselves into higher states of being. In the most highest levels, they're not concerned about things. They don't have problems. They're just excited about creation. And we want to start to gravitate towards that within ourselves as the human race as well, because we have been entrapped in a place, and it's only a vibrational place. It's not even as solid as you think. It's beyond that. It's as we start to challenge ourselves a little bit and realize that it's only this feedback loop that's happening. Like I have shared before, and I'll share again with my blackboard here, this timeline, if this was a straight line, and this is the present moment, the feedback loop is that we keep rehearsing the past in our mind, okay? And when you do that, when you keep rehearsing the past in your mind, it affects this present moment vibration, right? And this present moment vibration is then affected, which then in turn, you end up creating more of the same. Okay? So you really want to challenge this whole behavior here. And you want to challenge it and say, you know what? If I just start thinking in new terms here, if I start feeling good for no reason at all and raise my vibration, what would it do to my future? What would it do to my present, to my future moments and my present moment? Well, you'd start changing. Honestly, I have seen this many times where people just simply change their vibration in an hour in a session, and it changes their life because they thought they were stuck. They thought that they were stuck in one vibration. A vibration is emotion, the overall accumulated emotion that you have about your life, your perception and your attitude about your life. Now, when you start to play with that, you start to get freer. What if you could be magic? What if, yes, everything up until now has been this and this and this, and it's, whatever, maybe not good. But what if in a moment you could have a different idea and a different feeling about your life and shift it? I don't know if you've noticed, I have, is that sometimes we have these long-lasting, ongoing emotional states about our life. And anytime that we end up going back into that, we end up remanifesting it. And we think that that's it to life. But if we stop and we go inside and we start to get excited and think about what would happen if tomorrow something magical was to happen and I would feel differently. I would feel more connected to source energy. I'd feel more freer, right? And allow myself to come out of that trap. Well, see, you're changing your emotional vibration from there's nothing I can do about it to now, what if I could, right? And we start being 5 again and start being really, really creative in our minds. Well, that's when we start shifting, and you'll realize that you're not as glued to this reality as you thought, that you really have, there's expansiveness here. You can create something else. Now, vibration also, like I was saying, goes all the way up to higher levels, because it's you going up to higher levels. When you pass through 3D into 4D, 4D is quite confusing. 4D is, there's a lot of funny stuff happening in 4D, because that's the pressure that it takes to keep you in 3D. If you blow through 4D just through intent, I want to go through 4D and into 5, and you start to experience fifth dimension, you'll notice there's a shift in your consciousness. There's a shift in how you feel life, how you see life, how easy it becomes to know the difference between what is truth on the ongoing levels of vibration and what isn't, what is diverting you. And it gets very easy for you to be able to take what is diverting you and set it aside, right? Because there's a lot right now that's diverting humanity. Humanity is being diverted a lot because, well, because that's how we stay in that trap state. That's how they keep us in that trap state, but we're much freer than that. As we understand it, it's simplicity, not complexity, that's going to take you to where you want to go, that it's a feeling inside of you, more than it is figures, all left brain stuff, that it's more feelings, it's more creation, it's more being able to just be simple with it, very simple. Probably the most profound techniques that I use to assist people are so simple, they have to shake their head because it's so simple. And why does it work? Because it is simplicity. It's a matter of being able to take yourself out of psychological stuckness into psychological freedom. And who you are in that freedom is the real you, unbounded, the unbounded spirit that you are. We're all free. We're all much freer than what we've been taught. As we begin to realize that we have been taught a lot of confining things rather than freedom, the lighter we become, the lighter we start to feel inside of ourselves, the freer we become. The human race needs to know this. It needs to know that they have to move beyond this concept that they even can be confined. And we become, like I mentioned last time, we become more compassionate towards things and animals, people. We become more compassionate, and we also understand from another level that they're also everyone is creating their own reality, and the thing that they need to get is to create their reality in the fashion that they want to. There's an ongoing running dialogue in everyone. It's a way that you make sense of your world around you. And depending on how that thinking process is running, which is changeable by you, and you start, instead of rehearsing all the time the negatives, the fights, the different things that are going on, the disasters that are going on, and you just go, oh, that's enough of that. Stop. I'm going to think about how wonderful life is, or how delightful and light and magical life is. And we start thinking that way. And we start wondering even that way. Like a child, we start to imagine in our mind what it would be like to be in another state or vibration. And the more that we think about that, the more it starts to happen. That's how quick you can shift your emotional states, is simply projecting in front of you yourself in the state that you want to be in. And as you project in front of you, in that state that you want to be in, that imagined self, and you see yourself raising in vibration and glowing and feeling happier, all of a sudden it's catchy. You'll start to attract it. This is how we drive the dimensional ship called the Merkaba. And we can move from one dimension to another dimension. And don't think for a moment that you haven't shifted dimension already with yourself, because you have. It's not a complex thing. It's more simple than what we're taught. And that is that you can start to envision yourself being in a happier place, and the next thing you know, you're shifting dimension that quickly. But the one point that I really want to stress is, no, they're not corrupting the other levels. This is part of just them trying to sound powerful. They can't, because they have to shift frequency in order to go into the fifth, to even attempt to corrupt it. But fifth dimensional energy, if you start to enter fifth dimensional energy, you're going to have to flip those ideas in order to enter it. It's like that plate I was talking about with the sand on it. When you introduce a certain frequency to it, it takes on a different geometrical shape. And so does anything that raises vibration. In order to go from fourth into fifth, there has to be a shift in the emotional vibration. And it takes on a different geometrical shape. At that moment, that's a new dimension. Okay? And that's all through feeling. So you're not going to go into fifth dimension thinking about how you're going to corrupt other human beings. It just doesn't happen, because you have to shift in order to get in there. And so that's how it works. So that hopefully I addressed those questions for people that were asking them this week about vibration. And I think that maybe we should go and check out the chat room here and see what kind of questions we have. So if you would go ahead and put your questions in the chat room, I'll do some answering. If you're there. Are you there? Or am I talking to myself? Hello? Okay, can you explain a little bit more about how we are existing in different dimensions at the same time? How can I connect to myself in a higher dimension? Well, so first off, we're existing in different dimensions because emotion holds that dimensional frequency. So, take for instance, if you're talking to certain people and say old friends about the past and about the things you guys used to do and all that, and you're rehashing that sort of thing, you're shifting vibration, right? And you shift vibration into that dimension. When you stop and you shift and you come back home and you get into your spiritual work again, you're shifting vibration. You're shifting into a higher vibration, because what happened in the past was in the past. So people like to think about this being so complex when it's really a lot of you are doing it right now. You're changing vibration. I don't know, maybe you get into, say if you got into arguments with people, or you're at work, right? And you have this dictator for a boss, right? Well, you're in a different vibrational frequency there. Now, when you go home and you light your incense and you come into your state, now you're in a different dimension. That's a different dimension. You know, that that angst is not there. So that's how simple you can shift, and we are shifting dimensions. Now there are different dimensions within dimensions, but when we shift into, say, something like fifth dimension that we talk about, that shifting into that fifth dimensional consciousness, there's something that I say that things turn inside out. All of a sudden your perceptions and attitudes have to flip in order for you to even enter into. So this is why I say there's a protection there just by vibrational frequency that doesn't allow for corruption to take place into higher levels. And the other part of your question was, Donna, was how can I connect to my higher dimensions? First of all, you need to begin to open up and utilize your imagination again, because that has really taken a heck of a wallop in human reality, because they don't want you to enter into your imagination, because the imagination is literally the porthole that you open up to free yourself. So of course they would entrain you not to have one, or that it wasn't that valuable, and it's worth a tremendous amount. So imagination. So start to imagine what you would look like in that dimension, in that higher dimension, and go into meditation and see yourself in that higher state, or see the higher state of you. And as you start to imagine that and allow yourself to adopt the vibration of that higher aspect of yourself, you'll notice yourself changing, because you can't help but view something without changing that vibration. Just like with myself, I can sit here talking to you, and then I can raise vibration. And when I raise vibration, there's something you feel in you, because you can't look at something or observe something without picking up something from it. And so the same thing with yourself. So instead of looking at me, you want to look at yourself in that higher dimension and see that aspect of you in that higher dimension, and begin to adopt what that would feel like. What would it feel like inside your body to be in that higher dimension? What kind of things would you be saying to yourself inside? What kind of things would you be focused on? You'll notice as you focus on yourself in that higher dimension, you get drawn into it and do the flip. You will start flipping into that new perception of yourself. I hope that answers your question, Donna. Brenda asks, how can we tell how high our vibrations are? Well, the higher the vibration, the less the problems. The higher the vibration, the easier it is for you to not have thoughts that drag you down. The higher the vibration, the less drama you deal with in your life. It starts happening where you start to value your own vibration. You start to value what you will allow in your life. You'll start to value who you are as a vibration. That becomes more and more important all the time. So, I mean, I hear this a lot. People are saying, well, sometimes I feel quite alone because there's not too many people I can actually talk with. And yes, it gets that way, because although you can talk with a lot of people, you start to value your vibration more and more, because you don't want to allow yourself to go into, like I talked earlier, about this common conversations where people talk about the past, or they talk about how say their partner is, or you know what I mean, like, how those conversations go, right? And you'll start noticing that you stop doing all of that. The higher your vibration, the more you love who you are, the less that you're going to play in the drama world. And so the higher you go. That's one thing of knowing your vibration. The next thing, knowing that you're going into high vibration. The next thing is that you start manifesting very, very quickly. You start manifesting the things that you want, become a thought in your mind and a feeling, and boom, you let it go. And the next thing you know, there's a knock at the door. Or there is a shift in your reality, or there is whatever it is that you're heading for. So you'll start noticing that things manifest quicker, because when you move away from the drama, and drama is the big one, and having conversations about the drama, right? The more that you can let drama go and just be in your vibration, the faster your vibration gets, the higher the frequency. I hope that answers your question, Brenda. Snowflake's cat. Can we raise our vibration fast and easy just by listening to music? Yes. Yes. And surprisingly, I listen to all kinds of different music to raise vibration. All of a sudden, I'll be listening to a piece of music and I just start going into, a vibration of creation. I can see myself doing all kinds of things with this music, right? Talking or doing a video with it, or whatever, and it just raises my vibration right into creation, right? So music, yes, music really does it. And if you're playing it, or if you're creating, I remember way back when I used to paint, and I would paint pictures and I would disappear for like 5 hours. 5 hours in the painting, straight, non-stop, because the creation was coming out of me, And then I moved from painting to doing other things, making videos and chanting, to doing now the seminars, or doing the workshops. And the whole workshop, I created in my mind, and and it's got music in it, because it has to, for me, it has to have music in it to raise vibration. And yeah, you can also hear your own frequency inside. You can play with a sound inside yourself and raise the frequency of that sound and change your vibration too. Right? So we could do that. So music and sound, very much so. Now John asks, what are your thoughts about all the large earthquakes that are going on all over the place in this now moment? Gaia shifting into 5D? It could be. It could be. It could be pole shift. It could be all kinds of things. I know here in Canada, well, here in Alberta, Canada, we have had one of the warmest winters we have ever had. I have never in my life seen it this warm, this hot. Like right now, we're already in the 20s, and that's Celsius, 20 Celsius. We're already up in the 20s, and that's just never heard of this time of year. We're still supposed to have snow on the ground. We've got trees budding, and and the grass is growing. They're mowing the lawns here, and that's usually an absolute impossibility. But this winter we had more rain than we ever had snow, and usually, it's as high as your waist here, in snow. So I don't know. There are some things that are happening, and Gaia is shifting. The biggest thing is to stay centered yourself and know that you're going to be fine. And that no matter what happens, you're going to be fine, right? Live from that eternal aspect of yourself. That part that has never been born and will never die. Live from that spark that's within you. And know you're safe no matter what. And you'll manifest that. Yeah. I'm reading here, Andrea, I lost my inspiration to even raise my vibration now that tonight there's a possible tornado hitting my family in well, there's things that you can do, Andrea. And the things that you can do is to see no matter what, your family being safe, right? We want to start moving towards seeing protection around people that we love. And that has a tendency to happen. I know for myself, I do that a lot with a lot of people, and they don't even know about it. Even you, Andrea. I send protection around. So, and it helps. It really helps. So I would do that. I would go into meditation and see. You could see whatever scenario you want. You could see, well, a tornado's going to hit. Well, it's going to just swoop past, swoop past your family or whatever, and they'll be fine. You could do that. Or you could, there's many things that you can start to imagine to help them, right? So Donna writes, so I guess we could sometimes be in the 3D world, but our consciousness is in 5D. Does the Earth shift from 3D to 5D means not physically, but consciously? Yeah. I think it's consciously. I think it's consciously, and I think that you have every right to raise your vibration, and that's what helps raise it. The one thing that we have to get very clear is that we're not taking everybody with us when we're doing that. The biggest thing, and it was said a long time ago, is that you look after your lot in life, you first. If we start doing that, that is easy to do. That we can shift our vibration, right? And we can move into fifth dimensional consciousness. And then other people will ask what we're doing, and then you share with them, and then they raise to that consciousness. You see how it spreads. And this has been spreading since it went underground. If you take a look and notice, more and more of the ancient truths are coming back out and into this, more of our ancient heritage is coming out into the open, right? And why is that? Because this is that time. This is that time that the ancients spoke about when this energy would return to the planet. And it is returning, and things are being exposed. And we're freeing ourselves. But we got to come back, in my opinion, we got to come back into the fact that we are the gods in our life. We are that great God inside. And that when we own that, that's what really shifts things. So when we hear these ideas about having to save the world, to save everybody, or we won't ascend, I don't believe that. Not for a minute, because that would never happen unless you what are you going to do? Beat them into submission? I mean, that was done before already. You have to just raise your vibration. And in that changes the vibration in consciousness. We all have that ability to raise in higher vibration freely ourselves. That's our free will. And the more that we do that, the more it infiltrates through social consciousness. And the more people that are doing it. Look what's happening. In my world, people are coming out of the woodwork, wanting to know how to raise their vibration and how to connect more deeply to source energy, how to let go of the blocks that hold them back. It's just phenomenal, the rate that this is flooding. And that's because we're raising the vibration of the consciousness. Each and every one of us, by entertaining these thoughts of freedom, of who we truly are, our true nature, these sorts of things. So it is a consciousness thing, and it is a war on consciousness that is happening. And there is no war if you turn and just love and allow them to be the way they are, and you raise vibration. So I hope that helps. Now, Mia says, I've been having a floaty type of feeling, as if I just got off a ride or boat. I feel that I'm still moving. When I concentrate on it, it goes away. Do you know what that's all about? Thank you. Well, the interesting thing is that you say this, when I concentrate on it, it goes away. So obviously this is coming from the goddess within you. Because as soon as you put your trained consciousness on it, it goes away. So when you let go of it, you're back to the floating. And so that means that you're changing on a level that you're not consciously aware of, which is a good thing, I think. Yeah. Okay, so is there any other questions? I just want to mention that I am so excited because the new album has just been released with Suska, and it's called Lemurian Dreams, and you can find it on my Facebook page, and I'll have it in this video underneath, where you can go and have a listen. I'm on that album. I was invited to chant at first on one song, and then I was asked to actually do some speaking on it as well, and talking on that album, or on that one song. And it's really, really interesting because she did it in a certain frequency that helps you to remember your ancient past. And it was used, that frequency was used before for that sort of purpose. Now, that frequency, with what she's saying in her songs and what we do together in the one song, I'm telling you, you got goosebumps on your goosebumps, because that album is all about us coming back to life as basically the gods we are. And when you hear it, you're going to start to remember things that kind of like what Mia was talking about here, with something happening on a deeper level in you, and that's what you'll experience with this. It's beautiful. And so it's on my Facebook page, and you can go there and have a listen, and you can purchase it for yourself, and you can get the digital download, and the is coming soon. The hard copy will be released as well soon. So right now, just for friends and family and our good friends here, you can pick it up at a pre-launch price, which is pretty sweet too. So go check that out. So Andrea listened to it already. Yes. Yeah. Well, thank you, Ryan, and blessings to you. And Jessica says she's looking forward to Suska's album. Yes. Like I say, you can get a digital download at this point right now if you want to, and the hard copy is coming. So any other questions? Yeah, Lars is talking about that. There was music, like I used to be into all kinds of things like AC/DC and stuff like that, although, once in a blue moon, I'll still enjoy listening to it a little bit. But yeah, there was a time where things shifted, and I can't listen to what I used to listen to. The one thing that I still can listen to is Pink Floyd. I listened to it as a kid, and I still can listen to it today. That Pink Floyd seems to have followed that, and they were really thinking deep back then. They knew what was going on. Yeah, they were sharing the words, the ideas back then. Yes. Jessica's mentioning you can download 432 app that will change your music to 422 hertz. Music sounds amazing through it. And if you check out Suska's explanation as to why she chose the hertz that she did, that's why. And I think it was 432 that she has it at. And that is also to create, a vibration that helps you remember who you are. Pink Floyd Echoes, yes. Mm-hmm. Snowflake's cat is asking me if that's the music we hear on the intro. That was an older song of Suska's on the intro, but the new one, yeah, nobody's heard it yet unless they've gone to the link and listened to it now off my Facebook page. Mia got it, and she can't wait to hear it. Yeah, you'll like it. And so Suska and I are going to go around and do some live events with her music and what I've done with her, and move this together into a workshop, because when you listen to it, you're going to hear, as you know, how nuts I am about music. You're going to hear that literally it steps you through a process, and I, you know, I would love to be able to work with that in a workshop with that music, because it's going to key you right into what you need to do. Yeah. Now, any other questions for tonight? So again, this is all vibration. This is all vibration that creates a feeling within ourselves that then manifests a different reality. There's another aspect about vibration that I want to share with you too, is that there's a vibration happening. And earlier on, I think it was Mia was saying that that the vibration that's happening in the background, when she becomes conscious of it, it goes away, but when she just lets it go, it's changing her. Well, this is happening right from the central sun to us, and into our solar plexus, and that is happening automatically, and that frequency is shifting all of us. All of us are being shifted by that frequency. Lars wants me to speak 24/7 online. I wish I could. I run out of words too, right? Because I'm not, you know, I don't usually have a lot of words. But yeah, I'd like to do that too. You know, if I have questions, I can do that. So come up with a question, Lars. Right? You could think about an emotional state that you have had once before, a higher vibration that you've had once before. And as you go into that, what that was like and where you felt it in your body, you could start to breathe in and expand that through your own intent. And when you do that, you come back right back into that feeling again. And that feeling is manifesting, remember? And so you start shifting. So that's a quick way to raise your vibration. You could take a vibration that exists, that you've had before, and you can expand it, and or even just remember it, right? Your awareness focused on to that feeling and where you feel it in your body, and you breathe it in with your desire to expand it, and you'll expand it. Just notice what happens. Again, if we go back to when, you know, as creative as we were when we were 5 years old, you know, we can really do a lot of things. Now Snowflake asks, but can we stay in a higher vibration long enough to the point where it starts manifesting and staying in the fifth dimension? Remember, when you go into fifth dimension, there's many times I go into fifth dimensional consciousness. I don't leave here because all those vibrations are here. And so it's again a shift in perception and a shift in your feeling, and you start to see things. Like, people may think whatever they want to think, but I'm going to share with you that I remember walking down a path one time, and I felt the feeling, and I just let myself shift into a different dimension. And when I did, and I shifted into this different dimension, I seen this native man riding horseback, and I wasn't in this time. he rode up to me, and he had this like a long stick with feathers on it, and he just touched me on the head with it, and then rode off. But I could feel like I walked right into a different dimension, and it happened within me. It wasn't as much externally as it was something I shifted inside of me, allowed me to step right into a different dimension. And I play with that. You could go in and start to, like you would do, in the processes of lucid dreaming, where the processes of lucid dreaming is when you're in the dream to start saying, is this dream or is this reality in your dream? And you do that too when you're awake. Is this a dream or am I? And what you start is clouding that strong border that's there, and you start drifting back and forth between dream world and reality. Now, the thing that is that in dream world you can do all kinds of things, and if you start shifting that into what we would call the real world, which isn't, it's just parametered, you start corrupting the parameters, and you start getting as free as you are over here in the dream world as you are here. And so, you might want to check that out, that lucid dreaming stuff, because that would be a help. And also with Snowflake here is staying in that vibration is a matter of not going to the other ones. And so not drifting off into other ones. Become that power in your life. Become that sovereign God that you are. Right? Become it. And be it. Breathe it in. Let it lift the hair on your arms. Be it. Right? Because you are that God, goddess. Okay? And as more that you divorce the social consciousness aspect of yourself and bring in the God consciousness aspect of yourself, the more you're going to be in this power. Now, there's going to be things that are going to tease you out of it, want you to come out of it, right? And it's really you just testing you. Are you going to come out of it, or are you going to stay in it, right? Well, there's this thing that happened. Oh my gosh, are you going to come out of it? Or are you going to stay in it, right? And the more that you become very, very sovereign in your own power, the more you value your own vibration, and you no longer allow anything else to take you out of your vibration, which is your emotion about life, the longer you'll stay in 5D or any other dimension that you want to, Yes, scent can raise vibration, right? Scent can raise vibration. Scent can take you back in time. The quickest way back into the past is through the nose, right? And the quickest way into higher dimensions, if you have something that you want to start, it's called an anchor, olfactory anchor, is, if there's a special incense that you burn all the time when you meditate, and then you smell that incense, you can go into, so if you're practicing higher states with this incense burning, or the smell, there's a kind of a sweet smell people talk about when it comes to angels, and you start smelling that, boom, you start raising vibration. So yeah. Brenda says that she met a man with silver eyes in her dreams 3 nights in a row. Yes. I don't know what that is, what that means, but I would have to ask you what you experienced with that, and then we could kind of figure it out. So Lars is asking, is this what happens when people see that, like walking in to an ancient battle? My first experience with that was when I lived out on the farm with my parents. And we had a very, very strange thing happening there. The Aboriginal peoples, the native peoples of the land, seemed to still be hanging around that area for whatever reason. And there had been times where we'd be walking down the driveway, because it was an extremely long driveway to come into the place. And we'd be walking down the driveway, and all of a sudden we'd get this, you'd always get this sense first. And we'd get this sense, something. And then we look over there, and you would see the fire, the campfire, and you'd see them dancing around the fire. Like there was something about that area, or something about us at the time, that bridge between present and past was really not there. It was like they still existed in that time, just over there. We've seen a lot of strange things on the farm. It's kind of a cool place to go. I often wanted to make it a kind of a spiritual retreat place where people could come out camping and we could have these experiences, because it was, whatever this is, wherever, you know, like whatever happens there on the farm, it's like, whew, you bridge between very easily. Life is a dream, Andrea. Well, thank you, Maya. You're welcome, Snowflake. And okay, and Brenda's going to save the rest of her dream for another night to talk about it here. I guess it's time to go. Our hour is well up. And thank you, everyone, for coming out. Do come by my page and check out the new album that just got released. There's a click there that you can click onto it and listen to certain songs. And you know, it's only $11 Canadian on the site. That isn't much. And pick yourself up a copy, and you can have it, because the vibrations in that album are tuned for exactly what we're doing here. Raising vibration and remembering our true nature. Thank you and blessings, and hopefully the mic worked well tonight, and we will see you again next week, same time. Bye-bye for now.